Hey everyone! Since the Evolution of Combat is scheduled to release on November 20th, 2012, I decided to make a guide to help you get adjusted for when the update is implemented into the game. Most of you know the Evolution of Combat as a major change for only combat, such as the addition of dual wielding, abilities, armor increasing your hit points, and more, but it will also impact skilling in a positive way. In my free time on RuneScape, I'm usually skilling, so these are changes that I wanted to learn about and share with all of you guys, so that you won't be confused when the Evolution of Combat takes place, and you'll be able to find the best ways to train your skills. The first thing that really helps skillers out with the Evolution of Combat is the use of skilling with the ability bar. You mainly know the ability bar as the place where you drag your combat abilities so that you can use hotkeys such as 1 through dash to fight your opponents. But you can also use this ability bar to aid you in skilling. I have two examples of how this ability bar can increase your experience per hour, but first let me show you how to set it up and tell you how it works. Let's use gold ore for this example. When you mine gold ore at the Living Rock Caverns in the current live game, you can either bank your ores, drop your ores, superheat your ores, or alch your ores. Now when you superheat or alch your ores, you are mainly looking to gain secondary experience, which would be smithing or magic. So if you don't want to spend the money on the runes to superheat or alch your ores, or you happen to be 99 smithing and magic, then to obtain the best mining experience per hour, you would end up dropping your ores right to the ground and continue mining. In the live game, dropping an inventory of gold ores can take a lot of time and become very tedious. You'd have to stop mining, right click each ore, and drop them individually. Even if you use mouse keys, it could get pretty complicated and still be very tedious. With the addition of the ability bar, all you have to do is drag a gold ore onto your ability bar and click whatever key you bound it to on your keyboard. So this is how you drag the ore to your ability bar. I'm going to drag it to the 1 slot. Now, if I want to drop the ore, all I have to do is click the 1 key on my keyboard. And voila, it's dropped. Now if I wanted to drop the whole inventory, all I have to do is hold down the 1 key, and there, the whole inventory begins dropping, and now they're all gone from my inventory, and they're all on the floor right there. What's great about this is when you drop the ore while mining at the LRC, you don't stop mining. You continue to mine while you drop your ores, making it possible to mine non-stop and gain the most possible experience per hour. Right now I'm going to show you an example of how much faster it is to drop a full inventory of gold ore with the Evolution of Combat, as opposed to it is at the moment on the live game. Since the ability bar makes it so you can drop an inventory faster, methods such as power mining iron ore and power mining granite will become easier. Not only is dropping an entire inventory of ores faster, but so is your experience gains. Right now I'll show you how much easier and more smooth it is to mine during the Evolution of Combat than it is within the live game. After an hour of mining at the LRC doing the normal drop method on the live game, I received 62,564 experience. After an hour of mining at the LRC with the ability bar, I received 103,542 experience, making it 40,000 experience per hour faster with a lot less effort put in by the player. While mining, all you have to do is hold down the key you bound the ore to and enjoy the best experience gains per hour. The next skill that also increases its experience per hour with the ability bar is fishing. This is more of a lower level way to train fishing, but with the ability bar, the experience per hour through this training method puts up some really high numbers. This fishing method is fly fishing, which can be done here at Barbarian Village or at Shiloh Village in Karamja. And just like the gold ore, you will take 1 raw trout and 1 raw salmon and drag them onto your ability bar. I put the trout in the 1 slot and the salmon in the 2, and now whenever I click 1, the trout will drop, and when I click 2, the salmon will drop. Just like mining, while you're fishing, if you drop the trout or salmon, you will continue to fish, making it so you're constantly gaining experience. Right now I'll show you how much easier and more convenient it is to fly fish during the Evolution of Combat than it is within the live game. After an hour of fly fishing doing the normal drop method on the live game, I received 48,834 experience. After an hour of fly fishing with the ability bar, I received 77,136 experience, making it almost 30,000 experience per hour faster with less effort put in by the player. While fishing, all you have to do is tap the key you bound to each fish and enjoy the non-stop fishing. So as you can see, the ability bar is definitely a major help to skillers, and it helps increase the experience per hour in some of the skills that players find tedious to train. The second thing that will be added in for skilling when the evolution of combat is implemented is the new interface. Let's use an uncut gem for this example. In the current live game, when you click an uncut ruby, in your chat box area you will get a button pop up showing a picture of a cut ruby, and when you click on it, you will begin cutting the gems that are in your inventory. No additional information is given. But now with the new skill interface, when you click on an uncut ruby, you'll get an advanced interface telling you more information about what you're about to do. Instead of the interface being in your chat box, it now pops up within the main screen of the game. At the top of the interface, it tells you what skill that you are training. As you can see here, it says crafting because we're about to cut rubies. And on the left side of the interface, you'll see all of the possible gems to cut. The gems that you have in your inventory are highlighted, so if you have more than one kind of gem in your inventory, then all of the gems that are in your inventory will be highlighted on the screen. As for the right side of your interface, it will show you multiple things. First, it will show you what you're turning the materials into. For this scenario, there's a picture of a cut ruby, since that's what we're cutting. Then under that, you'll see the value strip, which lists how much crafting experience you'll get for cutting a ruby, which is 85 XP, the price of the cut ruby if you were to sell it to a store, which is 300 GP, the Grand Exchange gold value of the item, which isn't listed here right now because the beta doesn't have access to the Grand Exchange, and the amount of gold you would receive if you used a high alchemy spell on the cut ruby, which is 600 GP. Also, there's a fifth box which lists if you're going to get a secondary XP gain, but in this case we won't be receiving one. Under that is the requirement strip, which tells you the required level you need to do what you're attempting to do. In this case, it says we need a crafting level of 34 to cut the ruby, which since I have, there's a green check next to the requirement. And under that is the material strip, which tells you that you have the raw materials to do what you want to do. Finally, all the way at the bottom of the interface, you will see a pick an amount slide bar, which allows you to pick the amount of whatever you're going to be doing. So let's say I only wanted to cut one of the 28 rubies that were in my inventory. You could slide the bar all the way left to 1, and if I wanted all 28 to be cut, then I slide the bar right to 28. Lastly is the big cut button, which when clicked will begin your action of skilling. When you click cut, a new interface will pop up telling you how much time is left to finish the skilling action that's taking place, and how much experience you've gained during this inventory of raw materials. Another thing about the interface is when it's opened, it will always have the option set for the maximum amount of materials that are in your inventory. So let's say I just want to cut one of the 28 uncut rubies that are in my inventory. When I open up the interface the next time, the bar will be set to 27 instead of 28, which is the maximum amount of supplies that I have in my inventory. This new interface won't be increasing your experience per hour, but it will definitely help you know how much GP per XP you'll be getting when you're training your skills, which overall makes things easier for you as a player. You won't have to switch to different websites to find out how much your item alchs for, or how much experience you'll be getting for what you're doing. This new interface will appear while you're training crafting, herb lore, fletching, fire making, cooking, and lastly smithing. Also, one thing for anyone who trains prayer, in the current live game when you use a bone on a gilded altar, you will get a button pop up in your chat box area that makes you click on the picture of what bone you're using and how many you want to use on the altar. When the evolution of combat is implemented, all you'll have to do is use a bone on the altar and it will automatically begin offering all of the bones which are in your inventory. With these new additions of the ability bar and the new interface coming through the evolution of combat update, you're all ready to start gaining better experience per hour than you were before. Hopefully my guide was able to help you understand the new interface and how to use the ability bar to aid you in skilling, and I hope more of you begin skilling when the evolution of combat is implemented into the game. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Later everyone.